Here's what they're not telling you about the economy right now. While everyone's distracted by political theater, something massive is happening in the job market, and the numbers are staggering. Let me break down what's really going on. January 2025 just became a watershed moment for American workers. We're seeing layoff numbers that haven't been this severe since 2008 financial crisis. According to employment tracking data, over 108,000 job cuts were announced in January alone. That's more than double the same month last year and triple the cuts from December. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't your typical economic downturn. These layoffs are happening for a very specific reason, and major companies are saying it out loud. They're redirecting budgets away from human workers and toward artificial intelligence systems. Large employers, especially in retail and logistics, have publicly stated they're investing billions in AI while reducing their workforce. When asked about this in a recent interview, the current administration gave an interesting response. The president claimed AI job displacement hasn't really started yet. He suggested that major AI infrastructure hasn't been built. But that contradicts what companies themselves are saying while making these cuts right now. The response went further. It highlighted that employment numbers are still strong, more people working than ever before in U.S. history. When pressed on AI taking jobs, the comparison was made to past technologies, the internet, automation, robots. The suggestion was familiar. Innovation creates opportunity for those who adapt. Here's the problem with that reassurance. The data tells a different story. These job cuts aren't limited to one sector. They're happening across healthcare, manufacturing, chemical production, logistics, and technology. When delivery companies optimize with AI, the ripple effects spread through entire supply chains. And those promised replacement jobs? The most recent private sector report showed only 22,000 new jobs created. That's nowhere near enough to offset these losses. Weekly unemployment claims hit 231,000 in late January, the highest level we've seen in years. There's also a timing issue. The official jobs report, normally released the first Friday of the month, was delayed until Wednesday. That raised questions, especially after criticism of how economic data is being reported. Let's talk about what's actually being built. Yes, AI data centers are going up across the country, but these facilities require very few workers. They're not factories. They're buildings full of servers, cooling systems, and automated processes, not assembly lines. There are also growing concerns about how these centers are developed: water usage, environmental compliance, regulatory oversight. If enforcement catches up, some of these operations may face serious changes. Meanwhile, tariff policies meant to bring jobs back haven't delivered the results promised. Companies are choosing automation over hiring, even with trade restrictions in place. So what does this mean for everyday Americans? Markets are reacting to uncertainty. Consumers are paying higher prices because of tariffs. At the same time, the job market is shrinking. That combination creates real pressure for working families. And here's the political reality. No matter which party you support, economic conditions decide elections. Culture war headlines dominate the news, but inside the voting booth, people think about their bank accounts, grocery bills, job security, whether life feels better or worse than last year. The economic argument writes itself. When unemployment rises, when layoffs accelerate, when prices keep climbing, that's when voters demand change. This isn't partisan, it's economic reality. It affects everyone, regardless of politics. The real question is this: will anyone clearly explain what's happening to the millions of Americans who feel the squeeze but don't see the policy connection? That's the story mainstream media isn't fully telling. That's what the data shows when you actually look at it. What do you think? Are you feeling this pressure where you live? Let me know in the comments. If this breakdown helped you, subscribe so you don't miss future analysis. I cover the stories that affect your wallet, not just the headlines meant to distract you. See you in the next one.